Hello and welcome to 100 Huntley Street Full Circle. I'm Ann Maines. Thank you for joining us. Well, most would agree that raising children in today's culture is a little more complicated than it was when our parents and grandparents were raising their kids. Today, grade school children are bombarded with information that would make most grandmas blush. Our guest today is author Jenny Bishop, and she's written a best-selling children's book designed to help parents teach their daughters to embrace purity long before those little girls hit their teens. It's called The Princess and the Kiss, and the companion book for boys is The Squire and the Scroll. They're fairy tale-like stories that are really tools for parents to help young minds grasp the importance of purity. Jenny will join us on the couch shortly, but first, say hello to my three sofa sisters, Melinda, Kelita, and Maggie.
Oh, it's nice and warm in here. I'm feeling a little cozy today.
You know what? It is warm inside. It's not very warm outside.
No.
And Kelita, we are really happy that you're with us. Now you're sitting in for Moira Brown, who has the day off today.
How nice for her.
Yeah.
And how nice for me.
Yeah, well, we're hoping you're thinking it's nice for you.
We'll be nice to you, Kelita,
Thank
on
you.
the couch.
Thank you.
Tell us what you've been up to since the last time we saw you.
Well, since the last time I was here, my Heavenly Night fundraising concert took place, and this year I partnered with a wonderful church, Central United Church out in Calgary, and we raised $35,000 this year.
Wow.
Wow.
And your project is?
My project is helping young girls in Cambodia who have been rescued from the sex trade. And so we had a wonderful evening, and a lot of people showed up, even in the cold. It wasn't too cold yet. And there's actually a conference going on this weekend, and that RATANAC, RATANAK.org are putting on, and it's all about teaching people about the sex trade and learning more and advocating on behalf of the girls. So
the money you raise goes to help girls that are being rescued?
It actually helps the girls that have been rescued. So these girls who are being restored.
And RATANAC is the name of your organization?
No, RATANAC is the organization that I partner with. Yep, out of Vancouver.
And I know this is a project that's really dear to your heart. In fact, you brought a picture with us because you're touching other people's hearts as well with this.
Yes,
what is
this little girl, her name is Anika, and she was 5 years old, was adopted, and knew that she had been adopted. I think it was either Russia or Romania that she had been adopted from, and she chose, when she found out that this concert was helping the little girls that were hurt, as she put it, that she wanted to bring all of her allowance that she's raised for the whole year. She was saving up for some princess doll or something, and she wanted to come and give the money, so she collected the money that she had and brought it that night. So I could not resist. I had to bring her up on stage, and it was really touching.
That is very touching.
Yeah.
Now, this benefit concert that you're talking about that's happening this weekend, we will have more information about that later in the program, and you can find out if you're in that area how you can get involved as well. But Kelita, we're so glad that you've taken some time out to come and spend time with us on the couch.
Thank you. Actually, it's not a concert this weekend. It's a conference.
A conference.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
No problem.
And Maggie, you're back on the couch with us as well, and you've got a special report today. Tell us about it.
There was a symposium that was held at the Tyndale College University and Seminary in Toronto, and discussing the issue of reconciliation with the Aboriginal people and the church. We've gone through the apology last year that the Prime Minister made, and so, you know, what does the church do in response to this? And so we'll be discussing that in the report.
That's good.
All right, that's coming up later in this hour. We'll look forward to that. Okay, girls, well, what has been in the news all week but the weather?
The cold.
It is cold outside, and I have actually been a little under the weather this week, the last couple of days.
You can cozy up here, Anne.
You know what, to me, today is all about keeping warm. I'm just wearing layers and layers right now, just because I've had this cold, and I know it's going around. I hope you're healthy, or at least you're on your road to recovery. Maggie, looking at you, sleeveless there, I'm getting a chill here, just looking at you. Give that girl some hot tea or something.
That's true, but if you need my sweater, sorry, it's not
I
going to
might
happen.
be cuddling up to you later.
You're on your own. Well, there's one very clever Canadian who's come up with a remarkable concept to help the homeless stay warm. Melinda, can you start us off?
Okay, Anne, who would have ever thought that this crumpled up newspaper that I've got here can actually keep you warm. I mean, it's an amazing, amazing story. But it's a man from Toronto, from I think a marketing firm, who came up with this idea. He was walking from a basketball game with his son. His son was giving change to a homeless man on the street, and then his son said to him, you know, Dad, what can we do for the homeless? And he came up with this brilliant idea to create coats that you put crumpled up newspaper in to keep warm.
Wow.
Amazing idea.
Wow.
I know. And here it is right here. The company is Taxi, and so he partnered with an actual designer, fashion designer, who created this coat where you can see the pockets there. They stuff newspaper in, a lot of it in the winter, but during the spring and summer they can take out the newspaper and actually have the coat for all seasons of the year.
That's great.
It can be a windbreaker in the spring.
Yeah.
It can even fold up into a pillow,
yeah.
all year long.
Yeah.
That's great.
And I think what's amazing too is that they've done 3,000 of them. And I mean, obviously, there's 300,000 homeless right now in Canada, so you can see the numbers and how great it would be to, you know, make more of these coats.
You know, when you think of that number, Kelita, 300,000.
That's
I mean,
a lot.
you say it and it doesn't sound like much, but really, when you think about it, there's a face, a story behind every single one of those people.
And 300,000, that's a mid-sized city, you know, when you think about it. And you don't think about Canada as being that bad off.
Yeah.
We don't, because we're very comfortable, and yet the reality is, even in some of the wealthier neighborhoods right in our area here, we still have homeless people. And I think this is such a great idea. I know when I'm sitting sometimes in the summer and I might be outside and there's a cool breeze, I'll just take my newspaper and put it on my legs, and before you know it...
You do?
I do.
That's a good idea.
Well, no, you can. Have you never been outside and, read the newspaper and found that it's warm? It is.
No,
paper.
but this is, I will try that next time.
It's insulation. And just think, it's amazing what you can read under your armpit.
Yeah.
Now, the coat, I want to get, okay, girls, we got to get back to this coat.
I was gonna say. Yeah.
Because this really is, it really is, you think, oh, sure, newspaper, stuff a coat with newspaper, but this coat is made out of certain fabric that it retains the heat. It's called the 15 below coat.
That's right.
Because at 15 below is when the city declares a cold warning.
A cold warning,
A
yeah.
cold
Freeze warning,
advisory.
yeah, right.
You know, when I was driving into the studios this morning, those signs on the side of the road that tell you the temperature outside, it said it was 18 below outside. For our American friends, that is 0 Fahrenheit. And so really, and you think of all the homeless people outside in that cold, this coat would really help.
And sometimes we forget about the homeless. We're driving in our cars, going wherever we need to go. And I remember living in Toronto, and when you get off the bus, they're in your face, they're there. But when you are kind of removed from the city, you don't see them as much. And so I think this reminds us that this is a growing issue. And putting money behind that. I mean, Gateway Shelter in Toronto is the one that is the place where they launched it.
They launched it, and Dion Oxford, who actually I went to school with, who's the director of Gateway, said, I mean, it's an amazing idea. Because here's the thing, I never knew this. When a homeless person, we give them a heavy coat, what do they do with it for the rest of the year? Right. A lot of times when it's really hot in the summer, they have to just throw it away or discard it because they can't lug it around. But because of this, they can actually have it all season. The newspapers are always available, and they can just stuff that. And I think part of this story, why I love it, is that it's the creativity of people. That there's always ideas that we can encourage others or ourselves to think sort of outside the box and think of ideas that can help others. And I think that's what really this is a good representation of.
And by giving them a new coat, you're giving them dignity as well.
Exactly.
And so many times they don't have the opportunity to have something brand new.
That's right.
I think this is an amazing idea, and I think from what I understand is that they're looking for corporate sponsorship. So if there's anyone out there that's watching today,
let's go for 300,000 coats. If we could sponsor that, that'd be incredible.
Challenge. I think it would be an amazing promotion for anyone who would want to get involved. What a better way to give back.
Absolutely. And the website, if you're thinking, you know what, I'd like to get involved. I'm not a corporation, but I want to contribute what I can to help this this project get off the ground in all cities across Canada. Their website is www.15belowproject.org. And so we just want to throw a little challenge out to the warm-hearted Canadians in this very cold winter to look inside your heart and see what you can do to help the homeless and maybe provide a lot more of these coats to those in need. Well, when we get back, we're going to talk with author Jenny Bishop and hear how she reacted when her 5-year-old daughter came to her with boyfriend issues.